Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Adrian, and today I'm going to take you through where you can pick up 7 utterly amazing Shadowdark PDFs for practically free. Well, it's not free, but it's a huge saving. So there are websites called like Bundle of Holding and Humble Bundle that basically regularly have these wonderful deals, like like the PDFs that you pick up on Drive Through RPG. And as you can see over my shoulders, there are 6 amazing Shadowdark books that are in this bundle. There's a 7th as well, which I do actually own it, but only the PDF. That I haven't managed to get a physical sort of review done. But let me just take you over through the Bundle of Holding page, which is it's such a fucking absolutely amazing bundle. So for £17.95, which probably comes in more, £13-14, you're gonna be able to pick up Hyborian Adventures, Horde, Belowdown, Dark Visions, Tower of Six, the incredibly amazing Devoured Labyrinth, which I think that was my #1 Shadowdark book to buy. And then we've got Treasures from the Dark as well. It is such an amazing, utterly amazing bundle. So I'll put a links down in the video description so you can sort of know where to go. But so these are actually it's really done by the who's who of people and some utterly. I'm just going to keep going on about how incredible the books are. So let me just sort of take you through the absolute bundle that you're going to get. So it's only the PDFs. There isn't an additional one, but it's $87 worth of value in here. So, and that's it. Let's just scroll down. So I have done reviews of some of these. I'll put the links in the video description of those that I've reviewed. But we're going to start off with Shadowdark Belowdown. Now this is a 19. It's like a Megadungeon, but it's quite a sort of. It's like a slimmer one. It's more of a sort of like a tower, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's going down. 112 pages by Will MB, and it's the one thing I really love about this Megadungeon, and I keep meaning to review it, and I just things slide. It's the problem of this cult of the new for me that with new books that come in, but this has actually got 3 really good stories, as in within it's sort of separated out. And then when you get to a certain point, I've got to try and do this without spoiling it. Once you get to a certain point, everything going up is going to make sense, and it's going to take you several hours. This is going to be it's going to be a few weeks worth of adventure in here, but it's really good. Will's done some really good books over time. I've got another interview booked in with his zine quest, I think, in the next 2 weeks, because he sent me a load of stuff. Next up is Dark Visions and Tower of Six, which is all about cults. It's got 3 adventures across the 2 books, but it's going to allow you as a games master to basically create some really interesting cults and the different abilities and powers of the cults as well. And then you've then got this 3-part adventure across the 2 books, which is good. It's written by Zach Goins, who I've had on my channel several times, and I can see there'll be certain people go, I'm not really into cults. If you like Call of Cthulhu in Shadowdark, if you want to flesh out really interesting antagonists, this is something you should be picking up anyway. I've done a full review of both of those. Again, I'll put that in the video description. Devoured Labyrinth, probably one of the best Shadowdark books I've ever read. Okay, it does say here designers by variety of designers, and that's because when you go through the list, it is a who's who. Not me, I'm not on there. One day, it's a who's who of designers, not just for Shadowdark, for many, many other games. I just go at this one. It's a separated adventure, so it's a hexcrawl map, but it starts off going through the mountain range, and to do the mountain range, you're starting with a gauntlet, and the gauntlet is a 0 level adventure, so you can just run a load of characters through. Whoever gets to survive gets to the level 1 and then goes on. But it's divided up very, very easily into 4 different sections, and the players slowly build in it, and they're all sort of level based in all the hex areas, but it's done in such a clever way that you get to a certain point and you really can't proceed any further, so you can sort of slow the players down, and all the while you've got all these really cool random tables going in there. And one of my best parts, one of the adventures that I love the most, is there's this floating skull that's going around, and then also there's the secret other I don't want to say any more. Utterly brilliant. You know, if you can basically take a gauntlet and then put players in it, you are going to have months and months of fun in here. Now, Shadowdark Horde is something Roderick Welbal, I probably mispronounced your name, sent me a while back. I have done a full review of it. And this is, as the name says, unleash swarms of hawks and goblins into Shadowdark campaign. It's going to give you a lot more options, but more importantly, do you want to play an orc? Do you want to play a goblin? Do you want to have new classes, new ancestors for both? You've got an adventure in there. You've got all backgrounds and everything. It's an amazing book. I've reviewed this. I'd say Roderick sent it me very early on into my YouTube career, so to speak. I had absolute joy when it arrived. There's also a version of this for Old School Essentials if you're not sort of bound by Shadowdark. But then if you're not sort of into Shadowdark, then you're probably not watching this video anyway. So, but yeah, this is a really good one. It's so, because one of the good things that, you know, Shadowdark does is hides players behind the fact, you know, no one is dark adapt, no one can see in the dark. Some of these can, which basically means if you're playing an orc and you need to go and hunt humans at night, you can find them because they've got torches. Really good twist on an amazing set. And then we get on to Shadowdark Hyborian Adventures, which, as you can see, Shadowdark adaptation of 5 Conan stories by Robert E. Howard. A huge fan of Conan the Barbarian, books and the films, or film. Oh, I don't mind the first two, the Jason Momoa. Yeah. But this is, I think, and I talked to Will about this, and I do talk to Will a fair amount. I think this is my favourite current of all of the sort of the older sort of stuff that he did, because you've got all the maps and fleshed out, and it basically replays 5 of the novels, and you get to play that in Shadowdark, and it's all mapped out, all statted out. Absolutely brilliant. It's such a good book that doesn't get any, you know, anywhere enough praise, and it's probably my fault for not covering it, because I keep saying, I'm going to get this one reviewed, and again, just like Belowdown, I just never seem to go back to older stuff, because again, Will keeps sending me new stuff. I'm not complaining. It's a wonderfully privileged position to be in, but I do need to sort of sit down and actually just talk about these a little bit more. And then finally, we've got Shadowdark Treasures from the Dark by a variety of designers, but Jeff Stevens is, I believe, the main lead. He's the person that actually sent me this copy. Now, this is a 74-page book of magic items, weapons, armor, things like that, but it's slightly more than that. It's done in such a really good way, because what they've done is there are suits of armors in here, there's weapons and armors that level up, there's cursed items and all that in there. It's such again, this is such a wonderful sort of bundle. I think, would I say as much as you'd be a fool to pass this? I'm gonna go with yes. You'd actually be, if you're a fan of Shadowdark, or even if you're not a fan of Shadowdark and or a recent fan of Shadowdark and you're kind of not sure where to go, what should you buy next? Just do this. This is not an affiliate link. I don't get anything out of this. I'm not trying to plug this because it makes any sense to me financially. I'm trying to plug this because you're going to get 7 bloody amazing books and zines to add to your collection by such incredible writers. You'd be a fool. I'm just going to leave it there. Go and grab all this. Like, subscribe to this channel. Obviously, I've got my main channel, which is Dungeons and Dyslexia. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.